Hey everyone, welcome to the channel Golf with James. I am going to be reviewing push carts today. So in the lineup, I have the 3-wheel Bagboy Nitron, the 4-wheel Quad Pro, and finally the Caddy-Tech Caddy Light 1 V8, which is a 3-wheeler. And so I'm going to be talking through what I like and don't like about each one of them. I've spent my own money in buying these, with the exception of the Quad Pro. This one was sent to me for me to test out. But all that to say, I have skin in the game. So when I'm talking about all these different push carts, I've played at least a dozen rounds with each one of them. And hopefully this is helpful for you in making a decision, because these things they're not cheap, right? So anyway, let's get into it. I'll start maybe one by one and then just give an overview of the push cart that I like the best. Okay, starting with the Bagboy Nitron. It is one of the more popular options that are available on the market right now, and a big part of it is because it has kind of this piston action. I'll show you in a moment. But it has some pretty standard features. I mean, you have a little area over here where you can put balls and scorecard, other little knickknacks. There's a space for your drinks. And there's a little bag over here where you can put some of your smaller belongings as well. One thing that I wish this push cart had in particular is something that you can hang a little bag back here. And the reason why I want that is because normally I try to play early in the mornings and I'm usually wearing one extra layer. And instead of putting it in my bag, I'd prefer putting it in like a little compartment or something like that. But that's a relatively small complaint. You have fasteners up here for your golf bag to secure the top part, and then also fasteners on the bottom. I found that every bag that I've tried fits in pretty easily over here. And so I'm thankful for that. And then let me show you the kind of piston action. So to break it down, you use a little latch over here, and then you just grab here and then lift up here, and voila, you're now carrying something that's locked in. You don't need to like tie it up. It's just ready to throw in your trunk. Now, if you wanted to make it ready for a round, it's pretty much exactly the opposite. You set the latch first back here, and then on the handle that you're carrying it with, you just push away while holding this handle. And then you'll see the kind of piston pneumatic action take place. And so that's kind of cool. The way that it unfolds, I think, is assisted by a piston somewhere. So nice little feature there. The wheel on the front is fixed, right? So the way that you're going to be moving it is by pushing down on the handle and lifting the wheel so that you can kind of maneuver around. All right, so that is a quick overview of the Bagboy Nitron. Let's move on to the Caddy-Tech. So it's another 3-wheeler. I'll show you some of the differences here. All right, so it doesn't really show up well in the video, but the Caddy-Tech feels a lot longer. And it is going to hold your bag at a little bit more of an angle, right? So it won't be as vertical. Some folks prefer that. Some folks, I think, might want a slightly smaller footprint, but the Caddy-Tech does have a lot of features that I like. It has a little pocket over here for you to put all your things in. There is no drink compartment, which is a big downside, but it makes up for that by having a little compartment down here where you can throw in like your jacket, and then there is a little insulated beverage compartment down here where you can put in drinks that aren't in a thermos or anything like that. I did find it a little annoying that the Caddy-Tech one doesn't have straps up top. And so, you put your bag in here and let's say you're moving up or down some steep terrain, there's nothing really holding your bag from falling forward. And so you have to rely on these little clamps over here, which I would say if you're push karting, probably your cart isn't the lightest, or your golf bag isn't the lightest, and so it's gonna wanna fall or tip forward. I think that's why Caddy-Tech made it so that it's more angled, but it would have been nice if Caddytech did add some straps near the top here. Oh, I forgot to mention this on the Nitron. All the push carts that I'm reviewing today have a little elastic band over here on the top where you could just put your phone in. I know for a lot of us, you know, we got to respond to messages and stuff like that from family members while we're golfing. So that is pretty convenient. Similar to you know what? I've never used this top here. Oh, here we go. There's a little compartment where you can put balls and some other knickknacks, and then little places for your tees and stuff. I'll show you guys how it breaks down. You got to press a button up here. That starts the mechanism, and then it closes down like this. The only thing is, once you do this, it's not really like locked in, right? And so what you have to do is you have to use the bottom fasteners to then fasten it all together. And then you can kind of pick it up. So that's one area where Caddytech, I feel like, could have done much better in putting their cart together. But I mean, I used this for like at least a year and a half, and it wasn't the worst out there. And from a price perspective, it's like $190. I think the Nitron is $280 or something like that, and then the Pro XL is like $280, $300, $280, somewhere in that range. I'll update with the prices, but and the big difference here is the swivel wheel. And so the swivel wheel is nice because that means you don't have to push down to lift your cart. You just kind of set it wherever you want it to go. And so I did find that kind of nice. Let's see. One other thing I will note is that the brake function, I think, is down. It's a foot brake. Yeah, there it is. It's been a minute since I've used this just because, anyway, I'll get to why at the end. But there's a foot brake here at the bottom, and I have found that the foot brake, after about a year, is starting to become a little bit less effective. So it doesn't lock into place. It just relies on you pushing down until it kind of finally gets enough tension. So that is another thing that Caddytech could have, in my opinion, done a little bit better in making this product. But overall, still fine, still works. And again, the big thing here, this extra compartment. All right, let's move on to the Pro Quad. I'm gonna make a confession. I usually thought seeing four-wheel push carts were kind of not that cool because it just seemed like, you know, why do you need so many wheels to get through a golf course? But once I started using a four-wheel push cart, I realized what I was missing out on. So there's just a lot more stability, and this is a fixed wheel, so it's going to be similar to the Nitron in the sense that you're going to have to lift it up to then maneuver it left or right. But what is nice for me is I found that because it's all fixed wheel and it's so stable, I could actually just push it with my stomach and it'll go straight. And so if I need to do something with my hands, right, like I'm cleaning something or maybe even responding to a text or something like that, that has been a really, really enjoyable part of the Quad Pro. From a breakdown perspective, I don't think it has the same piston action as the Nitron. But before I get into that, again, drink compartment up top, really useful. Little place for your knickknacks up here, and then a little elastic band so that you could set your phone. And so, let's see. Handbrake is up here, but let me break it down for you now. So this goes down, and then you just, oh, there's a button down here. So you have to press the button. And then, so I guess this one you don't pull up, you press the button and you push down. And then, locks into place. You just carry it around like that. As long as you don't shake it too hard like I just did, it's not gonna start coming apart on you. And so when you're near your car, it should be really easy for this to get thrown into the trunk. Now, one, I would say, disadvantage about both bag boy options, the carry bags for both of them, not great. I wouldn't spend your money on them. They're pretty flimsy, and the Caddy-Tech is way more durable in terms of the material used for the bag to carry the actual push cart. And so just understand that when you get a bag boy push cart, you're probably going to be throwing it in without like a carry bag or anything like that into your trunk. So that does mean that maybe you might need to spend a little bit more time on cleaning off grass, or just you're gonna have to maybe vacuum your car after a couple rounds because some of the dried grass is gonna be settling in your car. To me, that's not a huge deal, but that's just something to consider. There is also on the Pro Quad this little magnetic function. I don't use it just because I like to keep my rangefinder on me or in my bag at all times. I don't like it hanging out somewhere because I've lost rangefinders that way. And one final thing I'll note is that the Quad Pro only has a strap up top and it doesn't have any straps on the bottom. I haven't found that to be an issue at all. And so, I looked at the Caddy-Tech and I remember how I mentioned that there's no straps up top, but there's straps on the bottom. I think they should have done it the other way around because this has never let my bag go. So really like it, and yeah, let's get to a final assessment. And I'll just share with you what I would personally buy if I was just choosing one push cart to be my main push cart. All right, so which one of these three push carts would I choose? I haven't folded up right now because I think I'm going to demonstrate to you why I actually prefer one the most. This is the Nitron, little shake. This is the Quad Pro, no shake. And this is the Caddy-Tech swivel wheel. You see the difference? When I throw this guy into the trunk, I don't need to worry about something rolling around in the trunk while I'm driving, every time I make a turn, every time I brake. The Caddy-Tech kind of takes care of that issue because it has a really nice sturdy bag, but the bag boy options don't have bags that are that great. And so if I'm gonna throw something without a bag into my trunk or in my back seat, I want something that's not gonna roll around too much. Obviously, the other things that I mentioned, like stability-wise, the Bag Boy Quad XL has been really nice. So 200, about 280, 300. The Bag Boy options are definitely a little pricier, but I think they're worth it. So hopefully this review is helpful for you guys. If you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comments and I will try to get back to you. Thank you guys for watching and stay tuned for the next video.